Hello, Warriors. Alexander, glad you're doing okay. Hi, Bran. Yes, my hand is still waving until flush hits 2000. Michael Weiss, how are you? James Groom, Glenn, Ben Dixon, welcome to Face. Kman, how are you? Sinatra, Jordan. Yeah, could be that the cable's failing. Lol, AJ, Marcus. All right, everyone, let's go to work. So here's a look at the weekly USDMX, and I'm looking for this right shoulder to develop. We could have a 2-week reversal, just closing above 1702, which is what we tested. What's the low? 17028. So you guys that have been around for a while, you remember my 2-week, 2-candle reversal. And sometimes the market will come and test the off number for the week, and you get a reaction from it. So I'm going to start with Kman on the peso. Get a little shorter term here. How are you, buddy? So the narrative was that this is really a U.S. political play here in Mexico.
It will become one, yeah.
Will become one. Okay, so
no, I mean I'm sorry, it's already partially it. If you look at the blip higher, the 2 blips higher that we saw earlier, like mid-January, and then was it like end of January or so, or the blips earlier were those elections, those by-elections or Republican elections when Trump.
Primaries.
Yeah, the primary
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Those were those blips higher. That is what really put
Okay.
put the mix into the political camp. Now today we have Mexico and the Central Bank of Mexico. We just had the CPI out and the PPI out. They overshot a little on the expectations, but overall, yeah, CPI is just that little bit higher again on the year. The core coming off a little bit, so it's a bit of a touch and go for the Mexico tonight. Globally, base case, they keep the rates unchanged at 11.25%. But I think with time evolving, the chances of them starting to lean a bit more dovish, or perhaps even shave 0.25% of the interest rates, which are still very, very lofty. They're the highest in the let's say non-completely out of our scope environment.
Yeah.
So they could hint at something.
Okay.
But what I
That's
did
what the
update.
charts are saying that could happen. What I really wanted to ask is, that deal collapsed
Yeah.
in Congress. So
Hmm.
I would have thought that would have been negative USD max because,
That's
nothing's
what happened, right?
changed. Yeah,
That's
but
what
it didn't
happened.
happen.
That's your move back from 17 teens down to the figure, right?
Yeah.
Or close to 17 the figure. That's your move there. But the story isn't finished there. It's ongoing now. They
Yeah.
decoupled the package, or they split the package, but it's still not. Um, I mean, the border thing is I guess still going to come back onto the table, besides the Ukrainian package. So
Yeah.
it's not all over. It's not all over and done yet.
Oh, no, no. Well, no, it's ongoing.
Why in
Probably,
politics? In
probably
politics,
through
never
the
is ever done,
election.
right?
Through the election.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. And
No.
that's what I was saying in the room as well, and I've been saying on the Flow show too, and on the shows. Since those primaries that we had in Iowa there, it's clear that the mix is going gradually through the year. Besides what Mexico can do and what numbers can show us on inflation or investment data, it's going to become more and more a political currency. So that's where I think that any moves, unless they are ultra dovish, in which case we can see a move higher, and then we have to pay attention to 1720s, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless they get ultra dovish, I think that any decision today on the Banxico will be 1 or 1.5% probably, and then getting to reassess.
When's that going
That's
to
the way
be
I look
out?
at it.
Is that
Hmm?
tonight? Is that tonight or today?
Yeah, today. It's today. It's in
It's
six
11, I
hours
think it's
time.
11 a.m. our time.
6 hours
Oh,
time.
thanks, Blake. Okay. All
And
right.
so I guess if they steer the course, and in December they were actually still pretty hawkish and very tight. If they steer the course, we may go and see a retest somewhere of that low there at the
17.
start of the year. But then I
Oh,
would
here.
say that's enough
Okay.
for this
All right.
one meeting.
Okay. Thank you. A lot of background that I had no idea about. So I really appreciate what you bring to the table. Let's talk to Ryan about new recovery highs in US dollar yen. How are you, Ryan?
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm Lou Gehrig, the Iron Man. You
Good,
guys,
good.
anyway, so we're not confirming yet on the yen, but are we actually on our way to gunning for the 52 level up here?
Could well be. Could well be.
Or else this is a great shorting opportunity, but I don't know. I don't think the rise in yields is done. Do you?
No, it's not dipping back. It's not pulling back too far from that 420 at the moment, is it?
No.
So it's feeling like it's setting itself up for a break higher. That'll no
Looks
doubt
like
drag.
we could, it always could pull back to 405 again, but that kind of looks like a nice bull flag here, right? I mean, here's your flag pole. Here's your flag. Looks
Yeah,
like we start trading over 415. So measured off this 382, 35 from here. 448, 450. I think 440 is halfway back.
yeah, as you've been saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've become the new jinx for dollar yen. I
Okay.
took a short at 148.79 and 97, and just as I posted that in our trade room, I said this will guarantee that it breaks. About 5 minutes later, it broke.
Well,
So
wait, I gotta ask a question because when you got up, you probably saw Uchida his comments overnight, and they were really dovish. I mean,
nope,
we posted the speech in our newsroom, and I was in front of the computer when it was all happening. I was like, damn, these yen pairs are going to break higher. I didn't want to get on the short side of them, but what did you and Kman think of those comments that he had overnight?
firstly they weren't dovish. They were just putting back expectations that people might have if people wanted to get overly excited about tightening. He was just making sure that those people, we know the market likes to get over extreme on these things. It was just reaffirming it's going to be slow and steady when the conditions are in play. We're not going to be jumping up at 25 pip increments, that sort of thing. So don't get carried away with things. But aside from that, they're on the path. They see themselves creeping closer to ending easing, and they're getting ready for it. So yeah, it wasn't dovish in my eyes. It was just wasn't hawkish, and it was putting back
Well,
expectations.
okay, and
But the market takes it as that. Obviously, if it's not getting a rate hike tomorrow, it likes to sell yen.
right, but he I guess you could say he was reconfirming that their biggest worry, and this is how I read it, and then I was reading Citi's analysis on it this morning. Same thing is when people we're seeing inflation drop globally, they're in Japan going, well, if this is the only rise in inflation we're basically getting in this environment globally, we're going to have a problem in months ahead. So we can't move on monetary policy just yet. And I think maybe that was reaffirming what we already knew, but it was still reaffirming regardless, right?
That's why they're going gung ho on getting wages up, because they need to bring inflation in that's not from out offshore. They need to get domestic inflation up. They need to get people spending. They need to get the economy moving. That's the key to it. It's less and less inflation, although that's their mandate, and more about wages and getting the economy picking up. If that doesn't happen, then inflation isn't going to rise anyway, and then it will be dollar yen 170, if not more. Because if they fail here, and it is still a possibility they fail here, you can't rule it out. Then the shit's really going to hit the fan on that.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, we're gonna just see an absolute destruction of the yen based on everything else that's happening. Dale, as you're pointing out, yields. Anyway, I'm sorry, I just wanted to jump in
No,
there
it's
because it
cool.
was such an important speech last night, I thought, and it really moved the market. Anyway, I'll wait on the rest of the
I'm just going to cover the metals quickly, Blake. So,
Okay.
you know, the theory that the white stuff leads, platinum looks pretty vulnerable. They're trying to turn it, but I mean, we could take out these November lows. So this isn't bullish, the market, and gold finally uh, looks like it wants to finally give up the ghost. I think we'll flush to the moving averages in the next week or so. And you know, some things are getting closer. Another 90 pips. I'll be trying Aussie down here. So lots of things to do. Uh, not necessarily right now if you're looking for inflection points. I know someone, you know, I look at this dollar and it's almost tempting to fade it when you look intraday. I mean, you look at a 4 hour and looks like a possible failing rally in the dollar here. But my bias says, you know, the dollar's not done. So if it happens, it'll happen without me. Trying to be disciplined after 100 years in business.
Yeah, I mean, why don't you just let the pattern complete? You know, let the dollar index finally get to 105, 106, and then or 105, and then fade it from there, you know?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't take out 103.80, that would be a false breakout in my view.
Yeah, well,
So anyway,
hey Dale, do you mind if I take over here?
no,
Because we're getting some
never mind.
we're getting some comments from you know, some of our
Peanut gallery?
traders from the peanut gallery regarding like you know, crude oil and you know, about the rally in crude. And yeah, crude, I'll tell you, it has been it's been range bound in my opinion. You know, I thought we might be developing a little bit of a flag, a little bit of a pennant, but it looks like, you know, we're just kind of continuing on here. But crude's really in the middle of a big range. You know, the range is basically from $80 to, you know, 70, you know, somewhere around here. Anyway, we're in the middle of this range and crude is rallying, but you know what's really rallying, and Mark in our chat room had brought this up, brought up cocoa, and look at this chart.
Wow.
I mean, that is nuts. That is that is just a berserko rally going on there.
Yeah, so buy your Halloween candy now.
Yeah,
you won't be able to get any next year.
Yeah, the Valentine's you know, heart box prices are going up as we speak. So yeah, a lot happening here. But hey Kman, I didn't hear you regarding yen. I mean, we got dollar yen now breaking out, and I mean, we're gonna be challenging that 150 level, 149.80 level or 60 level, which is the 78% retracement. Looks like it's coming up. What do you think here?
Yeah, keep an eye on that. If you zoom in to you know, from the highs there, oh, we are go a little bit left. Yeah, stop there. Where is it? November. You know, from the highs, then we went down, and then we tried again. Yeah, there, 149.73 quarters. So you've got the 149.40, which is a 78.6. And then you've got that 149.70.75, which is I think that's your zone here now to look. That's your gateway to get back above 150, right?
Ooh, gateway. Like
is it going? That is my question. Well, that's going to be the question, I guess. But Yeah, we were talking in length on about those comments in Uchida and Shimizu in the flow show, and as I said, I mean, the people who are trading yen, they should know about and do some research about who exactly is at the governing council or government board of the Bank of Japan. Those people have been chosen relatively. There are candidates, several candidates all the time, but people who get chosen, it's not random, you know.
Yeah,
And
it's a chessboard, right?
most of the board will be people who are very, very cautious because of the trauma that Japan, interest rate wise and economy wise, has been living for the past 25 years. So it's not unusual to have those people on board. I think there's only one or one and a half hawk on the BOJ board, and the rest are in the middle or doves, right? So in that respect, it's not to me, not very surprising the way they comment, but yeah, the market is always living on hopium, thinking that they're gonna get something. Yeah, now we can buy yen and close our eyes, and then hopefully I'm going to stick with it until $130 yen. I don't think that's going to happen. You know, they will always go slowly. That's what we've been saying for months, and yeah, I still can't buy yen for more than a couple of sessions. They are going to have to come out with something really, really good to turn the whole ship around. You know, um, it's gonna go slow. It's gonna go slowly. But yeah, I mean, slowly doesn't mean that the yen can't strengthen, because there's always going to be a factor when interest rates are going to the differentials are going to come down between Japan and the rest of the world. You are going to have an automatic or mechanical flow effect from Japanese investors and stuff. But that is probably music for later, and then we will look at how wide or tight the differentials get.
All right. Well, I mean, right now, we're looking at some of these yen pairs. They look bullish, and
Yeah.
rightfully so. I mean, if you're following yields and you're following stocks higher, but the S&P looks like put on a little bit of the brakes today, and we discussed yesterday the stretched nature of it, getting to 5,000. Ryan, I mean, was this enough for you? I mean, you've been long, stocks for the last, week and a half. Is this it? Do you pull the plug here, or are you going to stick with it?
It's going to
I
pop
chopped
the
some.
champagne. Pop the champagne cork at 5K.
I'll pop it when I close the last bit of it. I took some off at 89 yesterday, just in case it didn't do the 5,000. It hasn't ticked 5,000. Cash only got to 4999.89. So those who are watching March futures and the like, cash markets haven't hit it yet. So it's still there to be broken. We're not coming too far away. Is it going to break? I think it's going to break. There's too many eyeballs on it not to. Then there's enough money sitting in the dips, as we know. If you do get a big dip, that it's not going to go far. But you could get a lot of short-termers who, if it doesn't break today, they might think about throwing in the towel, and then you get a bit of a steeper pullback. And if it turns into a big level like the 48 did, it could drop all the way back down there.
Yeah, and I have to. I'm going to reiterate this, and I know we've talked a lot about this yesterday. I mentioned it on the trade-off with Chris Weston. Dollar's acting really well, and in this environment, and we get a little bit of a pullback in equities. You're going to see the dollar firm up, and doesn't necessarily have to be against the euro. Of course, the euro I think would drift back to 107 and maybe even a little bit lower. But you look at currencies like the Aussie. I mean, look at copper right now. I mean,
I was
right
just
now,
going to ask you about that.
copper's getting the shit kicked out of it right now. I mean, when you see this, and just so everybody knows, this is my target in copper. It's right back down to the base here. That would be a Gartley pattern. And copper's breaking. When copper breaks, you got the Aussie dollar that's like, holy crap, what's happening in copper? Aussie's going to be trading back down here at 64 cents soon. The Kiwi, it's having a hard time sustaining its gains, even with, a stronger jobs report this week. You got the dollar CAD. that looks, ready to, challenge probably 135.50 again. So you got a lot of dollar pairs that'll work if stocks really do come under pressure. As Kman pointed out, there's a lot going on with Banxico today. We could literally be trading back at the 200 DMA or maybe even back down here at 1680 by the end of the day based on what Banxico does today. But there's a lot happening in the currency market despite the grind higher that we're seeing in equities. And let's not forget, volatility is still abnormally low, and we're at channel support in the VIX, so, and also at the 50 DMA. So the volatility can get right back up to the 200 DMA up here, and I think that's where things get a little bit spicier for the markets.
Salty.
So Dale, you're seeing stocks like Nvidia, just ripping higher. Obviously today I think we're going to be probably down a little bit. Yeah, pre-market we're down a little bit, but look at Nvidia. I mean, what's going to stop this juggernaut?
You save all the easy questions for me?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, only God knows. I've seen targets around 750 or so.
Well, the 261% extension, which is an extension of the golden fib, comes in at 728. But these are all speed bumps.
Short it there.
No, hell no. Are you crazy?
Well, it's 2.618.
I bet you if you I bet you if you shorted Nvidia and you had like a long-term put and you just kind of closed your eyes for a couple months and just took a vacation, I bet you'd come back going, oh, I'm glad I did that. But
yeah, maybe.
But what do we do between now and then? Do we do the whoops, I didn't want to do that. Do we do something like this? Do we go whoop before it happens? It's a crazy one, right? Crazy.
Well, Apple got to the 191 range at the opening yesterday. So compare Apple to NVIDIA.
Yeah. I mean, there you go. Paul says pull Y2K. Look, I lived and traded, and the whole way I made my money in the markets, my nest egg when I started was long.com stocks. So I very much remember all of this. My big win was GoToNet when the stock went from $8 to like 120 in a day. So, and I had a huge position. So I understand all of these moves, but I understand they can go a lot further than you think. And so, and that's what probably people said at the 161% extension. They said it at 550. They said it at 630. We're still going. But I think
pull up the Dow. I have an interesting formation on the Dow.
On the Dow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it has the weakest RSI structure of between NASDAQ and S&Ps.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that it?
That's a Dow.
That, a weekly? Oh,
well, okay. What do you want? Daily?
Yeah, go daily.
Okay.
Go 4 hour.
Let's go 2 minutes.
No, just 4 hour.
Okay.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah, so I mean,
really, it's on my chart, it looks like a 3 drive to a top. If you like focus in a little bit, it still hasn't made a new high, but you can't see the 3 because it's too crunched up. You're showing too much time.
Oh, sorry. Here, let's zoom in for you, Dale. There you go.
Yeah. So you had 1, 2, here's 3 coming, and look at the RSI.
Yeah, I mean,
all under 70, but you don't get that with S&P and NASDAQ. So I think the generals might lead the retreat, leave the troops out there. But anyway,
well, we'll see. I mean, I want to see markets like I want to like just one couple in particular. All right. So first of all, you got the German DAX, which is very strong. We're just nudged right up here against 127% extension. The Nikkei is starting to move a little bit. You're starting to see hit a new high and then a reversal here. I might as well just delete that. We went too far extended on the right arm,
Yeah.
but see how we hit a new high and, divergent relative strength still, kind of playing into that. I want to see some of these markets start to show some signs of weakness, which, we'll see. I mean, Chinese markets still look heavy despite everything that Xi's trying to do. And also you got precious metals that look weak. I mean, look at gold. We're at triangle support right now in gold.
Good.
Yeah, I think gold looks like it could flush the stops below 2000, especially with the strong dollar at the moment. The dollar looks firm enough to where it could put some downside pressure on gold. But hey, one last thing, yields, and I think yields are going to break higher. I mean, with all the good data that we're seeing in the U.S., I think yields and with the Fed trying to get everybody's mind in the same boat that we're not going to get as many cuts as the market believes this year. I think yields are going to try to move higher here. What happens to stocks when or if that happens? I know we had this conversation yesterday, but Ryan, what do you think? I mean, yields, they're moving up on good data. Do you think the market can absorb this type of move?
It can if it's slow. If it's a flash up to 440, then that's going to indicate a bit more stress. But if it's a slow, steady move, and I said this after we had the FOMC and NFP reaction. We saw dollar shoot up, then we saw it come down. Then it's going to be a grind because we're now back to watching the data. We're back to the US is still the cleanest shirt in the laundry pile, and while that remains, yields are probably going to remain supported, and the dollar's going to remain supported. And there's every chance
heard
of it going on.
I heard tomorrow is a big day for that. A revision of an inflation number. Andy Constant said, if they revise it to where it shows, the best of the inflation news might be behind us for a while, that would disturb everything. So
this is like the NFP revisions. It's the annual revision, so it might knock it up or down a few points. Last year's numbers, which is in the rearview mirror anyway. But we've got quiet markets at the moment. It might not take much. If there's a big variation to the numbers, it might not take much to kick the market off. So I don't know when that drops though. I don't know if it's coming at sort of this time tomorrow or whether they're going to drop it anytime they like.
Isn't it around data time also?
Anyway, he
so
said pay attention
exactly
to it.
24 hours from now. Is that what you're thinking?
It should be, but it's not on the calendars as timed that I can see.
Yeah, but we do have U.S. retail sales tomorrow. Hey, wait, when's the last thing that's happening today? And did you guys get the amount of 30-year supply that's coming on today? Anybody? Does anybody know how many bonds? How many?
25.
25. Okay, that's a pretty big chunk. That's actually
that's an okay number, for today.
Yeah. So we'll see. What's that?
Could be a mover for a bit later.
Could be.
Although the 10s yesterday were very good. Well, they were good, but then I would still say there was a bit of an imbalance between the direct and indirect. But I think 30s could be moving a little bit.
What's that formation measure?
Well, wait, hold on. And just so everybody knows, this is the reaction. We had a really strong auction yesterday. We saw yields come down and they right back up again. Just observation that we need to pay attention to based on, what's happening today in the bond market versus notes yesterday. What were you asking, Dale? And we do have data.
If you just do a measured move off your formation, probably from the last low you circled to the breakout over your horizontal line.
This would be like a flag pattern. So it would take us above the 50% retracement, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Or right to it.
I don't think the market would like that, even though people are saying that, higher yields means, it's a strong economy.
Yeah. I mean, that's what that's Ryan, to Ryan's point, that we could take that. But I agree with you, Dale. I think lending standards are going to get tight. Your money is going to be less, if you will. Let me go grab the I'm just going to pull up the dollar since we're
I
running
mean,
low
I
on
think
time here.
that's right about tight money. Most of the people I know are very tight.
Wait, are you talking
Hello?
people or oh, I was going
Said
to
it
say
as a
something
joke.
really, really rude, but I'm not going to say that. This is a family show.
Uh,
You guys knew where I was going with that. You guys knew. All right, just a few seconds. Let's see what these jobless claims give us. Strong jobs market.
Nothing.
No, well, we're in line. Another
Nothing.
decent piece of data.
Move
A little bit of
along.
downside revision. Go ahead, Ryan.
Now I'm just saying move along. Oh, still 200Ks and 1.87 millions on the continuing. So
I mean,
nothing to see here.
it's the case of like, when the hell is the job market going to turn? Not today. This is the most real-time data that we get every week, and the most, the most current look. And everybody has been thinking for God knows how long, at least a year, that the U.S. jobs market's going to start to soften. And here we are, another strong piece
There's
of labor data.
There's one thing I
well,
will point out. We had the consumer borrowing numbers last night, consumer credit numbers last night, and it was a big miss by like 13 billion or whatever it was. Was expected to come out at 14.9 billion. It came out 1.5 or something. So it looks like that's December's numbers. It looks like maybe the US has suffered the same as a lot of the other countries. They had a big old spend up in November for the holidays, and then that's all fallen out of bed in December. So that could impact the next lot of retail sales numbers.
All right, which that won't affect tomorrow's retail sales numbers, but the next
No,
one.
because we
And,
don't have any retail sales numbers tomorrow, so it definitely won't affect it.
wait, don't we have retails? Don't
No,
we have
all we got
retails?
tomorrow is Canada jobs.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at the next week because I was doing that damn video from yesterday. I'm sorry. Retail
Always one
sales
step
is
ahead,
Friday.
you are, Blake.
No, I was doing the video
One
from
week ahead.
last night with in Australia hours, and I didn't change my calendar back. Anyway, yeah, you're right. So tomorrow we just have Canadian employment. So that means you guys and gals need to be here tomorrow for Canadian employment, because I have some Canadian exposure going into tomorrow's data. And I just want to see what Canada is going to do facing these rates and how their economy is faring. So, Dale, you have an interview coming up.
Dick Matthews is under the weather.
He is under the weather.
I had to reschedule him.
Yep, he rescheduled me yesterday as
And
well.
a dem got a hold of me and said, "Could I do it Friday?" And I said, "Okay," but I haven't heard from him. So
yeah, I
don't
haven't
know.
heard. It's a tornado warning in San Diego.
Look, I'm here. Everything's all right.
You're not in San Diego anymore. You're like in
Well,
between.
I was 50 miles away.
All
The
right.
weather,
Well,
anyway, there's no rain, there's no tornadoes. There's
yeah.
just,
Rainbows and unicorns in Dale's world. Rainbows and
millennialism.
unicorns.
Millennialism.
Did you know that Dickie goes swimming in the sea most mornings, no matter what the weather's like, and it's cold over here, even during winter?
He goes into the ocean?
Yeah, he
Wow.
does the channel, doesn't he?
Wow. No
Well,
wonder
he
he's
goes
so
about 10
chugging
yards
along.
off the coast, off the beach, but yeah, it's in the cold part.
He's a polar bear.
So
he's a cable polar bear.
Like 2 years ago, he was trying to, and he did like 2 of these back when I first met him. He's like, I'm going to swim in, wherever the channel or wherever the hell he's swimming. And he's like, I'm going to do a market update from the shore in my wetsuit. And I'm like, that's crazy. And so he did like 1 or 2 videos, and I'm like, that's nuts. Why would you do that? Why don't you go home and get warm and then do it? It's like,
wow.
that's
really that blows me away. That's admirable.
Yeah, you panic when you open the fridge, don't you, Dale?
What's that?
You panic when you open the freezer.
I put on my jacket.
Yeah,
and gloves. Yeah,
we definitely put on the polar gear when it drops below 70.
I did grow up in Chicago, so I know what it's like. But when you're a kid, I'd walk a few miles with my hockey gear to play outside.
Yeah.
Well,
20
Hey
below
guys,
wind chill.
just real quick, just remember we do have some Fed speakers today. We have Barkin who should be speaking right about now, actually, and then Mann. Oh, that's from the Bank of England. Mann should be speaking. Do you have anything to say about that, Ryan?
Well, Balkin's just popped up. He was out yesterday as well, saying the same thing. Don't have to be in a hurry to cut rates. Mann will get the reason why hopefully we'll get the reason why she's still voting for hikes. She's one of the hawks over there. So, yeah, I think Dinker was supposed to speak as well, the one who voted for cuts. We've already heard from her this week. It's going to be the same old story. We're not there yet. Need confidence in inflation before cutting. They've all got the same bit of paper in front of them these days.
It wasn't this
Coordinated.
typical of cable, gives you a clean breakdown, then negates the breakdown, and now it's failing. I don't know how many times cable has done that. Do you notice that with cable?
It stopped at the 50% retracement.
Yeah.
It stopped at the 50%, and
looks-
it's just enough to wiggle people out, and then you throw a
Yeah,
laptop.
that's what
you chuck
that's
it
what I
out the
mean.
window.
Yeah,
Yep.
tough.
Yeah, it's
It's a
tough
tough
one.
room. It's a tough room to make it in.
I'm short with you, Bran. I stay short. I like it. So,
Looks
all right.
good.
Hey, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Dale,
All right.
have a
right.
great day.
You too,
Ryan,
Blake.
Kman, thanks for being here today, and good luck with Banxico. We do have Barkin's also speaking today. We have the 30-year auction. So make sure you guys keep your head on a swivel in these markets, guys.
I'm going to have a beer at 5,000 for you, Ryan.
Thanks, mate. Push it up
All
there.
right.
Push it up there.
I'm gonna actually open the refrigerator. All right, man.
Don't buy 100 lots.
All right. So everyone, thanks for being here. There's some things going on. Watch that. I think it's a sleeper trade. I don't think there are a lot of bulls in USDMX here. And see everyone to wrap it up tomorrow. Thanks, Kman, for all that detail and analysis on the peso. Ryan, you're always great. Blake, thanks for putting up with me.
Of course. It's my pleasure. Not
all right.
really,
Anyway, yeah, I give you lots of practice and forgiveness. So anyway, everyone have a great day, and I'll see everyone. We will see everyone tomorrow. Today's a great day to join. I believe every day is a great day to join and become part of this community. If you're really serious about becoming a trader, surround yourself with traders better than you. And you've heard a couple this morning, and that's a tip of the iceberg of some of the guys they have in the community that have been at it for decades and are giving people. They share their ideas. They all root for each other. There's nothing like, anyone's rooting for members to get stopped out so they feel better about their own inadequacies. Blake doesn't allow that. So find yourself a place to trade and learn. You learn through osmosis by spending time in there, just like screen time. Who's going to sign up today? Give me a Y before I sign off. Oh, great. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Bill. All right, guys. So, all right. And I'll see everyone tomorrow. Adios.